December 14th marks the one-year anniversary of the tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut, where 20 first graders and 6 teachers lost their lives in a mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School. In the wake of the tragedy, the town was flooded with thousands of condolence letters from people all around the world. This inspired Newtown resident and writer Suzanne Davenport to ask the residents of the town for their own letters, which she has compiled in a book called Letters from Sandy Hook, Newtown to the World, as a way for the world at large to better understand this community and what it's been through. Davenport was joined in our studio by former Newtown resident Jeff Belanger to talk about the community of Newtown Sandy Hook, and she started by explaining why she decided to create this book.
All of us were trying to find something to do and some way to help. And I am a writing major in college, and I had been writing some articles, and I just thought this is my way of helping. And I was part of the Newtown Documentation Project, which we were volunteers who read all the letters that came in to us. And there's probably over 500,000 letters. I read over 10,000 letters myself. So when you start reading all the love that comes in, I sort of felt that we needed to show the world the love that we had back towards them, and that's why I asked for handwritten letters. And I needed the world to see us as who we are, not who they saw on TV right afterward, because we're a lot more than that.
Well, let's talk about that. And before we do anything else, let's note all the profits from the book are going to go to the Newtown Memorial Fund, to other funds in town.
Correct.
But I know you've said you were frustrated by the media coverage, and I think that's understandable anyway, especially if we're in the media.
Right.
You felt the world wasn't getting a real accurate sense of Newtown, of the section of Newtown known as Sandy Hook, and the people who live there, and that's part of what's behind putting this book together.
It is. I had probably 2 or 3 reasons why it struck me that this was something I could do. But we are so much more. We are a little town. We are a community that everybody knows. You hear that expression, everybody knows everybody. We truly did. We were not 6 degrees of separation. We found out we were 1, maybe 2 degrees, that we started running into everybody that knew somebody that was affected somehow. My kids had gone to that school. I had spent 8 years in and out of that school, probably 4 times a week, helping out, being a parent volunteer. So I knew those halls, and my kids both felt that way, that they knew those halls. They might not be there now, but that was their school.
Jeff Belanger, you're an author yourself. You grew up in Newtown. You don't live there now, but you're still home there because you have family there.
Sure.
You go for holidays. You attended Sandy Hook School yourself. You've contributed a very moving letter to the book. I know you just told me you wrote really just within a day or two of the shootings. Why was it important for you to be part of this, to contribute a letter?
You know, like Suzanne said, when you grow up there, especially now that I don't live in Connecticut anymore, you watch the way the media is covering this, and it turns into political issues, it turns into this, it turns into that, and just this one thing, and you say, oh my gosh, the town's so much more, like any town is. You know, the town is the deli and the diners and the restaurants and the people and the churches and the schools and the community. And I guess I still feel very much a part of that community because I grew up there, I graduated high school there, and like you said, my whole family still lives there. So I wanted to just kind of give my perspective of, especially within a day or two after, the pain that I was going through, just feeling like a part of me was attacked that day, but also just kind of convey that, you know, what we need is humanity. You know, it's not laws, not something you can legislate. It's the humanity that we find in small town America that we so desperately needed after that, ironically.
Jeff, in your letter in particular, struck me, you seem to try to look for some good, if that's even the right word to use, from all the horror. And the line that just killed me and brought me to tears, you talked about how the loss of 26 angels, as you call them, launched 1 billion hugs and more.
Yeah, that day I remember waiting for my own daughter, who was 5 at the time, to get off the bus. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I were waiting for her. You know, usually just one of us goes. We're waiting for her, and just the embrace. And she knew nothing of what was going on at that moment. And I was thinking about all the people who were watching around the world, and anyone who's a parent, anyone who's human, who could just, you know, feel the anguish that people must be going through at that moment. And I just thought of, you know, there must be some good, some taking a moment to stop and say, wait a minute, I appreciate you, family. I appreciate you, you know, children. we need those reminders. Hopefully not for such a sad reason.
Suzanne, how is Newtown doing now? Because I know the officials, the people in town have said, please give us space on this anniversary. Don't bring in the live trucks. Don't bring in the satellite trucks. Don't have us on the Today Show. Give us our space and our time to be who we are on our own tomorrow. How is Newtown doing? You live there, you've been there 20 plus years. How's your community doing?
That's a really difficult question, and it's one that a lot of us get asked when we're someplace else. It's really hard because you sort of stay within yourself. We're in all different stages, I think. There was somebody, I'm having all the authors sign their copies of the book, so I've had a few of these people back now to my house the last few days, and some of them are rereading their letters again and still crying. And there's others that have gotten stronger and they're progressing and they're finding their voice in what they want to do. A lot of the people that wrote letters in the book have found something to do to help our community and not just be themselves. But there'll be children that are going to be traumatized forever. So it's really hard to say. I still can't read certain letters in the book because it just makes me cry, even though I probably personally have read each one of them at least 15 or 20 times. There's a few of them that every time I read them, it just pulls in my heart.
It's painful for me, and I have no more association with Newtown than having driven through once many years ago. Can't imagine what it's like for the people who wake up there every morning. I know as we bring this talk to a close, you wanted to take a minute, read something from one of the letters, I think the final letter in the book.
I do. It's actually one of the first letters I received. And to me, I had asked for it to be about our community. I didn't ask for it to be about a specific day. And a lot of them do touch on that day. But this letter just came in and I said, this is what I want. This is how so many of us feel. And he expressed it really well. So it's from...
a letter from a town resident.
It is. He grew up there, but he no longer lives in town either. And his name is Nathan Gaines. And he starts off, I grew up in Sandy Hook. My childhood is Sandy Hook. The deepest pain I have ever felt in my 30 years was in Sandy Hook. I am Sandy Hook. We grew up in Sandy Hook. We became men in Sandy Hook. I had my first kiss at Sandy Hook during recess. I walked the hallways of Sandy Hook School. I drank my first beer in Sandy Hook. I fell in love for the first time in Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook raised me. Sandy Hook has forever changed. My childhood and memories have not. I am and will always be Sandy Hook. Nathan Daniel Gaines is Sandy Hook, and Sandy Hook is Nathan Daniel Gaines.
Suzanne Davenport, Jeff Belanger, thank you for coming in and being with us today. Thank you for the book.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.